Hey Dexter, this is our 5th episode, and something that's been on my mind is when you don't have a direction or if you're starting from scratch. Doesn't matter if you're fractional or not, if you're a beginner founder, a beginner fractional builder. What's one thing that can jumpstart your success?
So I've been around the block a few times, which is something you actually make fun of me for. And there's something consistent I see, both in the work that I did in politics, in government, and in tech. The most successful people have a close set of friends and advisors who help advise them, hold them accountable, and open doors for them. Just a couple of days ago, I had dinner with two friends of mine who are very influential in politics in the United States, Jen and Genevieve. They reminded me the importance of having what they call in politics a kitchen cabinet. The folks who will challenge your thinking, who will help you orchestrate and move your agenda. I realized that exact same dynamic, your private set of advisors, your private avengers, is something that is critical to any successful founder in tech, any successful fractional. And what I learned from your conversation with Lex, it's very important for independent professionals to have that private board of advisors, that private network of folks who will help you succeed as a fractional professional.
That's true for me, and I think for my own career, I've sort of built it semi-intentionally, right? Like I was creating this platform for Roots where I was creating a routine ceremony where I can find potential, advisors for my private Avengers kitchen cabinet, right? And those people, I still reach out to them if I need some help. So one person who I've interviewed early, Andrew, or no, not Andrew, but Tim. I met Tim through Andrew. I was asking for like 3D help because I saw him post and I was like, yo, how can I get started on this? I need this for our app icon. And like he gave me advice at like 3 a.m., and
3 a.m., my goodness.
Yeah. And it's nice to have support when you need it, and like you can always rely on them, for that reinforcement, for direction, to have them as a compass. How about you, Dexter? Like, who's on your personal board of advisors?
Oh, that's great. I have mentors and peers. So Manny Ayala he's like somebody who's been a long time mentor. He's somebody who both challenges me and whose correction and whose feedback I seek. Sometimes it's hard to hear like critical feedback, but when and there's trust between people who you respect and whose perspective you value, the criticism or the correction doesn't land negatively. It actually feels empowering to a certain degree. It brings clarity for what the next step could be. And interestingly, he pings me for advice, even though he's, I won't say how many times my age, for my perspective on things. I still talk to Paul Rivera, my co-founder at Caliber, for things that what he sees and like how he approaches being a founder himself. I talked to Louis Sia from Paymongo, and who kind of challenges me on how to think about what opportunities exist in different markets and how to attack an idea. So I think there's a consistent group of folks. And how do I engage them? I talk to Manny literally weekly. I have a lunch every other month with Paul. No, it's been every 4 months lately. And then Louis I'll see every month. There's a small group of folks who we help each other, we challenge each other, and when one of us is going through something tough, we hold each other up. We encourage each other.
You motivate each other, you keep yourselves accountable, and you challenge each other as well. For people who haven't built their board of advisors, what's your advice for them?
Think about what part of your journey, where in your capabilities you have a blind spot, right? And look for peers, not somebody who you can just extract from or learn from, but somebody who you can actually contribute to as well. Look for peers who you can walk through, your journey together as a fractional professional, as a designer who's excellent at what they do, but trying to figure out how to generate their next 10 leads, or an engineer to figure out how to talk to a customer when usually your comfort zone's, staring at screens, however many of those screens might be. It takes people who are interested enough in you, and who you can also propel in the same way. I think that the best kind of peers, the best brain trust or kitchen cabinet, are those where people are helping each other. People can open doors for each other. Also, I think that don't only stick to your comfort zone. You will learn more from people who believe in you, but are different from you, and who are part of different circles. I think that's an important part of being able to grow as an individual, is to have strong relationships with people who think differently, and are a part of different parts of society than you, right? And I think that's very important as well.
So I think you've captured it where emphasizing the peer-to-peer exchange of value, right? There has to be an equal exchange. It can't be that you're just a parasite, like extracting all the time. You can deliver value in several ways, right? But it's much easier if you're peers with that person. You've also amplified the notion of diversity in thought. So don't just get people who are probably in the same bubble as you, but people who have or hold different opinions that it can expand your perspective on things. Perhaps that's it. Any parting words for our listeners out there, Dexter?
Last week, I challenged you on the leaderboard, which we're still fighting for the top spot. I have a couple of tricks up my sleeve to win that. But also, what's one thing that I could do to be supportive for you, Alexis, this week?
Providing strategic advice to, let's say, the initiatives I make, the things I need to learn. That's the kind of level where I'm at. How can I be supportive to you?
I could use help being amplified on social media. I'm not the influencer that you are. My goodness, after I listened to a couple of your podcasts, one, the clarity in which, you've done the research, and the clarity of your questioning really brings out great ideas, and I think that it results in shareable and insightful content. So I could use your help in being amplified this upcoming week on social media as I start to share my knowledge with those that would listen.
What I've been learning recently is that in order to be successful on social media, you need to have soul in your message. First and foremost, you need to have something to say. Like, you can't manufacture that with a growth hack or whatever, right? Like the amplification. But if you have that soul, if you have the innate value in whatever you're trying to say, which I think you do, it's going to be really easy. But then from there, no one can shy away from normal copywriting tactics, where you focus on having a hook that draws people in and captures their interest, the actual content or the value you need to provide, and then whatever the call to action is at the end. So I guess for our call to action for this Dex and Lex, for the people listening out there, tag people who are in your personal board of advisors. And if you don't have one yet, describe the people who you'd want to be in your board of advisors. Okay, I think that's
awesome.
it for this episode. Thank you so much, Dexter.
All right, Alexis.